Do solar panels add value? Let's get started. Okay, so I get this question asked a lot because we're starting to see more and more properties with solar panels. So does it really add value? Well, there's a couple of ways to look at it. There's 3 different ways to finance solar panels. The first is having it paid off completely. That's the easiest. The second is you can actually do finance payments, but then when you go to sell, you have to decide, are you paying it off or are those payments being passed on to the buyer? If the payments are being passed on to the buyer, that now affects how much they qualify for to buy the property, because they have to go back to the lender and say, hey, there's this extra charge. Because the lender doesn't care about the utility savings. They don't count it as a wash because they can't predict how much your utility costs are actually saved. And no, you can't show your previous bills. They won't take that. The third option is leasing it, where you don't really own the solar panels. You're just making payments, but they're going to be less than if you were to actually finance it. That also presents problems for a lender because, again, the next buyer has to qualify, and on top of that, they need extra paperwork. So it doesn't make it super easy on that all perspective. So then let's talk about, let's say it's completely paid off, because really that's the best solution, and honestly, that's what most buyers want, which makes sense. So if it's paid off, does it really add value? Well, according to Zillow, it does. In 2019, they did a study across the United States in major markets, and they said that the homes would sell on average about 4%. For the city of Los Angeles, or they call it the Los Angeles area, they said that they saw a value of about 3.6% bump. Personally, in my personal experience, I've seen 0. Why? Because buyers are already struggling to buy a property. The last thing they need is to be able to pay an extra premium on top of that, just because they just don't have the money, right? It's a cash constraint, it's a financing constraint. What I have seen is marketability difference. So if you have 2 homes that are the same in everything, same bedroom count, same square footage, but one has solar panels, yeah, buyer's gonna go for the solar panels. And I've represented buyers and sellers of solar panels, and that's been my experience. The other thing to keep in mind is I've yet to see an appraiser actually add value for solar panels. Now, that's not to say they don't. I have talked to at least one appraiser that said they might start doing it, but in general, I haven't seen it. Now, let's say that Zillow is correct and they're saying there's a 3.6% bump in value. That means if it costs $30,000 for the solar panels, the house would need to sell for $833,000, and that would be just to break even on the solar panels. That doesn't include closing costs and commissions. So really, in order to break even, the home would have to resale for like $900,000 or more on a practical basis to really understand and really see that value of a solar panel. So of course, time will tell, but generally speaking, that's the data. 3.6% appreciation bump by having solar panels, but that means in order to compensate for the actual cost of the solar panel, it needs to sell for probably close to $900,000 or more. Love to get your thoughts, because of course there are benefits to solar panels for you personally, so I'm not knocking them, but this is all from a resale perspective. So comment below, share with your friends, don't forget to follow or subscribe depending on where you're watching, and I'll talk to you soon.